Beyond the stars lies a web of pearls, each gemstone a miniature world unto itself. Upon these worlds interconnected, our stories are told. And the fate of creation hangs in the balance. Welcome to the Titan's Gift. Greetings. Welcome to Die Dragon Die presents the Titan's Gift. I am your DM and host, Marty, joined by 3/4 of the Seattle crew. We've got a Luke, we've got a Matt, we've got a Max, in order that they appear on my desktop screen. How is everyone doing on this fine Tuesday? It means it's Tuesday. How's it going?
Woo! It's going good, man.
It's going.
Oh, you're killing my ears. Okay. too much. I set the levels and then I have to mute them because we're doing the pregame chatter, and then I forget where the levels are at. Just some of the madness that's going on. So one at a time. What's going on? Max, what's new in your world?
Is my volume okay? All right.
Yeah.
Been playing a lot of Horizon not Zero Dawn, for Forbidden West.
Okay.
My wife and I have been playing that together. We started this last weekend. It's been good, man. I'm really enjoying it. I like the first one. I was worried about the sequel being, not being able to live up to it, but my fears have been put to rest. I'm really, really enjoying it. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm in a different location. I got kicked out of my office. My sister's staying with us for a few months. So yeah. Good stuff.
So she gets the nice background of all the action figures, and you.
No, actually, I moved those in.
Oh, I see.
She used the space.
So you really got kicked out of that space.
You're like over in the corner there.
Oh, that feels bad.
I mean, she wouldn't have had enough room for anything in there, to be honest. It was tough to walk into that room with the bed there.
Yeah. Matt. Oh, what's going on with you? What have you been doing to keep happy?
I've been playing some Elden Ring.
Nice. How is it?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It took a little while to get used to it. Everything's labeled with Xbox controller or PS controller things. So figuring out what keyboard mapping maps to what is taking a little while. I mean, of course, you can just look it up. But anyway, yeah. But no, it's I'm starting to get the feel of the combat and whatnot. It's tough. I'm not really fighting any bosses because my twitch level reflexes are not good. I got to get used to dodging and blocking and not just spamming the attack key because I need to not be attacking in order to be able to dodge.
Right.
And then I have
Is that how that works?
There's no turn-based mode.
No.
Oh,
No, yeah, that would be nice.
You
But
probably
there's a
would.
lot of exploring that can be done, and I like exploring a lot. So I'm enjoying that aspect of it.
Yeah, everybody's loving that game, I hear.
Luke.
I actually last night, Max, I installed that Hades game you were talking about a while ago. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So
Are you
that's
playing with
been
the controller?
good. Yeah, I like to do as much
You gotta play with the
of
controller.
the couch gaming as I can with the controller. That and now that I got the new gaming desktop rig, my wife and I have been replaying Outward for I don't know, the third or fourth time.
Oh,
It's
okay.
been great. That game is just so much fun to play.
That's like the outdoors RPG survival game, right?
Yeah, it's sweet. It feels like an old school RPG. It feels like its own kind of thing. I don't know. It's really it's nice. It's a little unforgiving, but not nearly as bad as Dark Souls or whatever. It's more like the world, the weather can kill you, if you're not ready for it early game. It's fun.
Yeah, my friends and I play a lot of survival games. That's been one that's been on our list for a long time. We've never really gotten around to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need another person. It's pretty built to be co-op. One person, I'm sure you can do it, but it's just fucking way harder.
Sure. I mean, that's how a lot of survival games are, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that's been me. How about you, Marty? How's the Kraken doing these days?
The Kraken are kind of a basement team. They're third last in the league, and then my team from beforehand was last in the league. So hockey's been
You're moving up.
Yeah, hockey's been I follow 3 teams, and the third team is struggling in like one of the last playoff spots. So hockey this year has just been sort of a bit of a letdown.
It's brutal.
Yeah. The Kraken games right across the street are they're fun, but there hasn't been a lot of them as of late. I sold a few of the tickets to people I've met, and there's a game tomorrow. I'll go tomorrow. It's been a few weeks for me.
Nice.
Let's see. I over Christmas dropped my iPad and it shattered, and it was like an 8-year-old device. So I it could only run basically email and solitaire were the last 2 apps that still worked on it. So I did pick up another iPad, and then so it's been watching Billions, the TV show, the news, obviously, which is insane, and then playing stupid iPad games. Like the one I'm playing right now is called Cell to Singularity Evolution, and it's just basically a game where you sit there and tap the screen for points, or you wait, and then you buy level ups as you pick the way that life evolves in this simulation. So it's dumb, but it's something I can do. It's something I found while I was setting up the iPad, basically.
It's dumb.
It's dumb. I was more curious about. I'll play it once just to go through the progression of life, and then like I'm a Civ fan, and you bring basically primordial soup all the way to the singularity. So I'm curious more about what the tech tree and what the biological tree looks like in gamified form, and just some of the ways that they build interactions. I imagine this game is kind of like 100 others in its category. So dumb iPad games keep my mind busy while I'm half watching a TV show or half watching the news. Nothing too exciting there. Oh, I did start to. Hey, Aaron, how's it going? iPad. Yeah. What is the in dog years?
Yeah, I feel like you beat planned obsolescence by a couple of years at least there.
Yep, and it was just this one dumb thing where you bring the iPad in the washroom with you, and you drop it, and it lands just on the corner so that the entire thing just shatters. It's like, how many times have you dropped your cell phone or your iPad without it just shattering? But that was the thing. Yeah, not much else. I started the task. This is the arduous task that you'll probably hear me talk about for 2 years, of rewriting Pathfinder. Just 1, 2. Yeah. So I got through halfway through fighter, basically. I figure if I could define what is human, what is a fighter, and some starting feats, and then start to figure out how to clean it up.
And you mean rewrite it? You mean do it right this time?
Well, Pathfinder 1. So our group plays Pathfinder 1 because we played 3.5 because we love early 3rd edition. We tried 4, didn't like it. We tried 5, we didn't like it. We tried Pathfinder 2 and went, yeah, we'll take some of it and drag it back to Pathfinder 1. But Pathfinder 1's got so much bloat, and there are things that, like the action economy, we like the Pathfinder 2 action economy, and we dragged that back to Pathfinder 1. And then a bunch of the spells, like we just went through leveling tonight, for example, for our 12th level characters. And we spent half the time talking about, is this spell allowed or not? Because as the DM, I have to review the broken crap they got interns and 1 cent per word authors to write, for the thing that needed to be out the door yesterday, So some of it isn't written very well, and then some of it is just clearly broken. When you do the litmus test of, does this spell match other spells of its category, and it's way better, then you need to apply some judgment to keep things at least somewhat sane. So, so I think it needs to be cleaned up. There's a lot of things that the other group and I talk about that we like and don't like, and we've talked about it for years. So I think for my own purposes, I'm gonna build 1.5. And I've been talking about it for a while, and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna do it.
Just do it.
I'm just gonna do
Alright.
it. Yeah. So
Let's-
yeah, I'll quietly plug away at it, and you may see. Well, effectively, we've been playtesting the Unchained rule economy in both of our campaigns, and I don't think anyone wants to go back to the original action economy.
I personally prefer the original action economy to the 3-action system.
Okay.
But that's only because of the way that
Swift actions worth.
swift actions break. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can't do that were designed in a certain way, like normally being able to do a swift and a move and a standard. It just kind of like breaks down.
Yeah.
There's also a couple of other feats that are like based on the number of attacks that you get around. It's like, oh well, that's never really going to go past 3. So there's a lot of just like edge cases that don't feel good, and it makes me feel like I can't play parts of Pathfinder, or I'm making a mistake if I do.
I see. One of the things,
like,
one of the things I think we'll bring back is the concept of a swift action plus 3 actions. Swift plus 3 is basically the way I think
that would solve a lot of my complaints.
Yep.
And then fix haste. I don't like taking a haste attack at -10. That feels bad.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
It feels awful. Like. I don't know.
We've had the conversation about haste. I don't mean this game to be let's talk about rules, but we've talked about 2nd edition haste. Mark and I were remembering past campaigns where it was a house rule or it was part of 2nd edition. I forget what, but we enforced it because haste was really pimp even then. I think it doubled your attacks in a round because there weren't as many attacks in 2nd edition. But in order to scale back, because everyone loved using it, I said let's the house rule or kind of like one of the optional rules. It's so long ago, and 2nd edition was so weird that it aged your character every time.
Oh, yeah.
By 1 year every time you used haste.
Sweet.
What?
That's sweet.
Yes. So the elven fighter was laughing, whereas the human fighter was like, this fight doesn't feel haste worthy. And it was like this consternation that happened, and people accepted it. And you actually saw people reach the middle age category, age category, through a normal a normal campaign first through whatever 15th, and. Yeah.
Honestly, like if 3-action haste was it didn't give you a bonus attack, but it lets you like it delayed your iteratives, so you had like 2 at full and then 1 at -5. I'd feel great about that.
I think there's a whole like one of the things I want to do is pull apart spells and put them back together. And one of the things that the moving quickly and getting extra stuff, you could see a 1st level version of haste versus a 3rd level version of haste versus a 6th level version of haste, all doing a progression of additional things in a 3-action system. So, yeah. Anyways, pull it apart, put it back together, take out the cruft.
Well, and get rid of like things that overlap, because like if you have a 1st level haste, you can get rid of Bard Allegro and things like that.
You can get rid of a bunch of the movement spells. You can get rid of, or you have a separate group of spells that only affect your movement rate versus a group of spells that affect your action economy versus a group of spells that.
Sure.
So you
How you're getting into words of power.
Pull things apart, put them back together. I think is the exercise that I'm gonna commit to as my extra thing. Yeah. So that's what's going on with the Martyr. Why don't we do a recap of what happened last game? What happened last game?
Assassins attacked.
Yeah, we got ambushed in the market.
Yeah. Okay.
Almost died.
Red Sands.
It was close. Yeah, it was a close call.
Red Mantis assassins ambush the Jerks Emeritus after they linger for many days in the market of Kallow Mounds village. After the fight, the professor interrupts a cremation with his illusions, frightening the villagers and causing Thousand Bones to call out in appeasement to the many, many ancestor spirits of the surrounding hills. Chief One Life politely asks Thurgus and his band to leave the village, as they fear retribution from the 3 deadly sisters of the Red Mantis Temple. one of which was part of the cremation that just happened just outside the Kallow Mounds. We
had a psychometry reading where we saw the other two. There's a very powerful spell slinging one that could destroy a whole village with her spells, and then there's a conjure one that conjures monsters and has some shadow at her side.
Fortuitously, it appears that the location of the Red Mantis Temple is in the opposite direction that you'll be traveling. Mind you, I think Thurgus kind of wanted it to be in the direction he was traveling, but are we going to change alchemists into assassins now? Is that the chant? I want to kill some assassins.
If we could go Red Mantis, then Giant Sandworm, that would be great, and then do everything else.
All right, so you guys have spent some time at the Kallow Mounds. You've had some interesting experiences there. The weather is a bit windy, but not enough to shutter the entire village when late in the morning you guys find yourselves at the gates, kind of getting ready to head out into the desert. A group of the soldiers, or the catfolk warriors, are watching you guys. They're not necessarily escorting you, but they are there to see you off. There are some of the warriors do give you a nod. Thurgus, you recognize the two catfolk that were helping you with their spears against the high-level caster Red Mantis leader that you killed.
Just give him like a real casual salute.
Okay, they're young catfolk warriors, and they seem to puff their chests in pride when you acknowledge them.
I'll look up at the kind of winds blowing through. Is this knocking up a dust storm? Any clouds, or is it still a pretty clear day?
Well, it is blue skies, but there are big trails of grayish clouds, and the winds are kicking up a bit of dust, but it's not quite dust storm. Or you could see a couple of little zephyrs rolling around out in the desert.
How would you? Does it seem shadowy from all of the dust in the air and the clouds blowing overhead?
Not even a little bit.
Nice try, though.
I'm just curious.
It's okay, just camp outside and wait till it gets dark.
Shall we take the carriages for a ways from town, then perhaps set up a shelter till nightfall? I have a rather novel mode of transportation for us. Should cut down the walking or riding.
How
I
wonderful.
think it's just important that we get the fuck out because we've overstayed our welcome a bit.
Yes.
Yes. Well, have them bring forward our carriages. I believe they held them in account for us while we stayed here. Quickly now. I'll start casting Conjure Carriage.
The two that had saluted Thurgus are kind of looking around like, oh yeah, where did their carriages go?
Oh yeah.
Because
they
just sort of
roll
disappeared
it out from behind a house or something.
Is this one of the settler wagons that you were using before? I think.
Yeah, let's go the settler wagon.
Okay.
Do we need two of them for us to all fit? I think we do.
Okay, rolling up from nowhere, you notice that the two there are a couple of warriors in one of the towers that are looking down at where did that thing come from? As the settler wagon pulled by ghostly horses pulls up in front of the Kallow Mounds.
I'll conjure a second one. I'll spell recall it and conjure a second one.
Okay. You do notice that there is a Thrycreen that is jumping down as he sees the
Yes. Nice.
As he sees the carriages appearing.
Tech. We're on our way. Free of
His
confines.
His approach causes some of the catfolk warriors to bristle, but they've gotten used to his presence, at least enough not to automatically open fire with their bows. You do see Wicked Claws kind of sunning himself along one of the along one of the walls. He probably wants to see you off. I think you made a good impression.
Wicked Claws, we will meet again. But not too soon, I promise.
He stretches one of his wings that are his wings that have been badly damaged.
Thank you again for your help.
He looks down at you, gives you a nod.
I'm pleased not to have been on the pyre myself.
When will you be back? These are the two youngins talking to Thurgus, the two young warriors. Zemkos is escorting you guys. You realize as you're leaving the village, he's walking up at a polite distance, but he's basically making sure that you leave.
It's probably going to be like a long time. We've got a lot of things to do. Right. Well, we're gonna go. He's just like super awkward about it.
Probably never. I suspect we will never be coming back here.
I think maybe we could make a pit stop if, like, we ever murder those mantis assassins, you know?
True, yes.
Maybe when things settle down a bit.
Okay.
Try not to miss us too much.
One of the warriors does approach you, Thurgus, and it looks like he was waiting for a time to do this, or
he wants my autograph.
Give me a second. Wither, could you let me know who that fortune point is for? Anyways, yeah, just let me know. Anyone? Okay.
Give it to the kid.
Saying next roll. Okay.
Ah.
Yeah, the Kafo warrior. I don't know if we gave these two names. Do you? Does Thurgus want to remember their names, or is it just those two?
This one I call Mittens.
Mittens.
He has like pale claws.
Okay.
It's like dark fur and like white claws.
All right, Mittens approaches you, and
hey, Mittens.
he has a small bag by the embroidery on it. It looks like it's a lot of care has been put into it. I wonder if you could do me a favor, Thurgus.
Yeah, as long as it, and then Zemkos again, like, as long as it, doesn't put anybody out.
Zemkos is just standing there watching you guys. He's got his arms crossed. He doesn't seem overly concerned with this exchange.
Okay. Yeah. What you need?
The altar at the House of the Moon. We will not be able to get there this season. But there are followers of Iambus, the Titan of Dreams, here.
You want me to provide this as an offering?
Yes. If you could tell it's from the Dreamers of Kallow Mounds.
I can do that. And he'll actually, like, use both hands to take it.
Okay.
And
you can tell there might be a smattering of coin and maybe some small artifacts inside the bag.
I don't open it.
Okay.
And I put it in my haversack.
Okay. Moon Maiden. Tekrakai. She is the priestess that you should speak to.
He'll nod.
Good dreams, warrior.
Yeah. Good dreams.
Okay. you realize that even though there are different tribes, that these tribes clearly have interactions with each other. Given that Krojan eats what he kills comes from the Sun tribe and was actually here visiting when you guys had arrived, also gives credence to that.
Makes sense.
The professor conjures the spirit wagons pulled by spirit horses. Tech approaches Fereosae. My queen. Much of my meat was lost.
Ah. We shall have to find new meat. I'm sure that we'll be able to.
Yes. The storm took much.
Yeah, but you can't get it from in there. We gotta go find it on the
sorry.
road.
Fresh meat. Fresh meat is good meat.
All right, Tech climbs, kind of just hops up with two of his arms out of the forge, just grabs the back of the carriage, and he'll just ride on the back of one of the ghostly carriages. Pixel comes fluttering up with her beautiful new wings. Which wagon are you going into?
I'm going to take the second one here.
Professor, get in the first wagon. It's rather bumpy when you're not on the road.
Yes, I was just on the way there. Thank you.
All right. We've got Thurgus. You climbing into the wagon, Thurgus? You're going to sit up front.
I can sit up front.
Okay. You're kind of squished up front with Christopher. And then Bukerbeck will get into the back. Agronom waves goodbye to the to the cat folk. I don't even think they know he existed. There's some confused looks as Zephyros's handbag sprouted. There are some low remarks from Zemkos, and they actually shut the door.
Don't let it hit you on the way out.
Following the map that Thousand Bones gave you, it looks like you've got a rocky road ahead. You're going to kind of follow these hills, not traversing deep into the sands, as there's a windy trail that leads to the first of two places marked on the map, which were specifically about.
It was like less than a day to get to the first dot there.
No, it is. It is about 4 days the way you're traveling.
I think the professor will direct the carriages. Per kind of the earlier discussion, we want to try and shadow step there. So we want to maybe not travel during the heat of the day and when the sun's up.
Okay, so
Shadow
Generally,
step
you
or
don't
shadow
do that
walk?
again
You're-
This thing, we're like maybe a few hours away from it, and then we'll start looking for a place to cool them over, and then probably put up a permanent illusion to hide a shelter.
That bone house working.
Ooh, Of course, yeah.
All right, so
That was
you travel out of view of the Kallow Mounds, and you guys are in the desert. There is a rocky trail. For those with survival, you can follow the trail pretty easily. Plus 30?
24.
24. Yeah, you can see that this place must get a little bit of rain as some of the trail washes out in some places, but for the vast majority of the time, it's quite clear where the large shaggy pachyderms, as well as catfolk, basically traverse in small numbers, but have done so for.
Makes sense.
On your map, the deeper parts of the Cinderlands, the part that you're kind of avoiding looks like the hunting grounds of Cindermaw. Which
I mean, I wouldn't say avoiding, more like being told I'm not allowed to go to.
This rocky path at some point
truth speaker
is a little bit bumpier. It's almost like you'd like to be going through the softer packed sand, and it looks like it's taking kind of a roundabout arcing route. Then again, you might be sticking to the rocks, as giant worms might have a hard time moving through solid rock. There might be some purpose to this path.
I pointed out to the group at every opportunity. Oh, it would be so much smoother if we just went over there, you know.
Oh, you ready to fight the giant worm already?
Yes, please.
We need the truth speaker to witness it in order to get credit. It's important.
But not if we kill it and just drag it back to the truth speaker.
Oh,
Perhaps if you complain louder, it'll hear you and come and fight you here in the car.
20 minutes.
That's a great idea.
The last ones that fought it cut their way out of it and it survived.
Well, they didn't cut it in half. They just cut a hole. That was their mistake.
Fair
Do
enough.
two
Fair
worms
enough.
grow from each half?
Rope trick, and he wanted some time to do some fine work up in the rope trick. So he's actually not like him and Makernam are up in the rope trick, which is dangling from the roof of the settler wagon. He calls over to the professor. Let me know. Give me warning ahead of time if you're going to dismiss the wagon.
Yes, away to your studies.
Okay. So during most of this couple of hours, Thurgus, you actually see up ahead that there is a roundabout where you could have you could kind of circle the wagons, and there's like a cleared rocky patch with some hills to buffer against the wind, and you see what looks like a stone-lined well that is covered in the center of the rocky patch. It's like a campsite.
Sorry, what was that?
It's a campsite, basically, a way stop.
Okay. Yeah, I'll point it out to the group. Looks like we can stop here if you want, Professor.
Yes, I suppose, though I am a little hesitant. I mean, a campsite is an excellent place to ambush people who are regular traveling the desert and look a place for camp, so...
Oh, that would be awesome.
May want to look around.
I look around for an ambush.
Tech needs fresh meat, too, so, you know...
Yeah.
I suppose you're right.
Tech and Thurgus kind of climb some rocks and have a look around. You can find more rocky terrain. No obvious approach. Someone could climb over the rocks to get over at you, but...
Can I toss Christopher down the well?
Yeah, the well has actually got a heavy stone slab over the top of it.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna try and move the stone slab.
Give me a strength check. Anyone helping Thurgus?
I am going to ask the professor if I can examine the bone house.
Shall we erect our private sanctum before we settle in here, gentlemen, ladies?
That's a good idea.
Tech is hunting for some meat. Thurgus is examining the well.
26.
26, yeah.
I'll cast Mage's Private Sanctum on the area.
Thurgus, give me a perception check.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, okay. I'm using the Death Watch eyes. So that is 26. 32.
Okay, the stone slab that is on top of the round well does have carvings in it. More like a pattern. There's basically a big square slab on top of a circular well, and then the top surface of the slab, you actually went to go and to try to move it, and then you noticed this circular pattern over the top of it.
Sorry, you cut out there a little bit. There's a circular pattern.
A circular pattern carved at the top of the well. Yeah.
And I'm still moving it though, right?
You could stop, or you could continue to move it if you want.
I mean, I'm gonna keep moving it until I can see down the well.
Okay. You move the slab off. Are you tipping it onto the ground, or are you just moving?
Just enough that I can look down the hole. I kind of want to balance it over like the one half of the well. I don't want to have to like pick it up if I need to. Just push it if I can.
Yeah, normally wells, you'd expect some sort of moist. That has an exit, but everything feels very dry. You don't hear any water. Do you have dark vision?
I do not.
Okay.
Low light.
You peer into the well. It definitely disappears for the amount of light you're letting in. 10 feet down. The inside stones are smooth.
Is there like a rock or something I can cast light on and drop down the well?
This place has got a million rocks.
I'm gonna cast light on.
Stone. Apparently the well is dry.
Well, that's a totally useless well. There's some weird symbols on the top of it, and there's no water in it. It might even be a tunnel or something, but, or maybe I just let out some sort of weird, creepy air elemental. I'm not sure. You want me to close it?
Maybe the professor would like to take a look at it. This is sort of his area. Symbols on old things.
Just a moment, I'm concentrating as I continue to cast Mage's Private Sanctum for the next, 8 minutes still.
Oh, okay. You just like blanketing the area with Mage's Private Sanctum?
Yeah, this is going to be our campsite until, evening time. I'll cover the well and an area around it, try and get the wagons in, and this will just be kind of...
I'll go take a look at the symbols. Wow.
I was gonna say, within a minute, I get bored and start to climb down. So Fereosae's gonna do it. I'll let Fereosae take a look.
Take a look at the symbols here.
And also to cast Detect Magic. Just in case it's some sort of seal.
Maybe it's obvious.
Yeah. It's a well of prestidigitation. I mean, if you could clean water, it'd be incredibly useful in the desert. Prevent a lot of disease.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Give me a knowledge religion.
Can I assist Fereosae with that?
If you
I have ranked.
If you can make a DC 10. You guys can have a conversation as to the significance of the patterns.
Hey, I did it. You see, this is a circle, and that one is a big square shape.
Yes, so it is. I almost missed that one. There's a 24. It's not great, but that's a terrible.
24 with the plus
did you
2,
add my
26. Okay.
No, I added the +2.
Oh,
24
okay.
already.
All right. It's some decent information. So some of the swirls that are in the interior of this circle is actually more like a prayer diagram. Like one could put offerings on top of it, or perform ceremonies over top of it. It's actually an altar that no longer has any consecration effect to it because of a crack down the middle. The magic of whatever this altar was has bled away. The specific deity, it's one of the inheritor deities. It's one that you don't encounter very often, probably because you guys spend a lot of time in cities. But it's Kyrian, the god of travel, exploration, caravan, and winds. It's also known as a somewhat of a hard-to-catch deity, depicted as a dervish or a fox.
Yeah, it looks like an altar to Kyrian. A bit obscure, but travelers worship, of course. Difficult to catch, almost like a place where something of Kyrian might have been trapped or consecrated, perhaps. Who knows?
Could just be real estate above a well. You know, before you drink from the well, you give offerings to Kyrian.
It's covered with a very heavy stone for something that people would want to drink out of, but it's in the middle of the desert. You got to keep it tight.
You think we should try and bless it or something?
The inheritors are newer, I think, than the very, very old gods the professor is trying to study. So I wonder if this was something else before it was an altar to Kyrian. I'm not much one for blessing. 1,000 gods could bless 1,000 things.
Since the professor's gonna have us stay here a while, can we try and end it?
You know, the thing with mending is that it may actually mend the rock back into its original shape before it was damaged by crafting. So
Right.
you can't restore a writing with mending.
I think eventually I'll finish this casting, and are you guys still over there after?
Yeah, you end up blanketing the area with your basically darkness from any observer on the outside. Tech, eventually you see a back approach the darkness, and he kind of probes at it a little bit before sticking his head through and figuring out he can see on the inside and out, just not from out
Private
in.
sanctum tech, it keeps prying eyes from looking at us.
What have we here? Did you find any water in the well? You know that I can conjure water from my hands. Thanks to Bumpa Dumba Dumba.
Yeah, I can do that too. You know, it's not super special.
Have we
It is an
discovered any
altar?
truth? Oh, an altar? Still
To
in
a
use?
traveler deity, Kyrian? Is Kyrian an ally of Bapa Doma Doma?
Ah. Let us just say that Kyrian would be one who would avoid paying taxes.
Aha, yes.
But
Is the
as far as deviousness and evil, it is not Kyrian's way. Common for those to give praise to Kyrian before setting out
Yes, caravanners and movers of goods would be friends of Kyrian.
Yes. I personally have no problems with them. There are those in the Mandira of Bompa that may, well, desire their followers, their riches.
Sure. Professor, do you want to have a look at this well thing?
Yes, you said an altar of some kind, still in use. Looks like it's damaged a bit.
That wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Oh, if it's dry down there, just go down.
Well, shall we see if we can peer back into the abyss, see what cracked it? Let's have a go. And I will spit into my hands, rub them together. I will step up to the altar, put one hand on each side of the crack, and I will and attempt to peer back into the memories. I've kind of just always opened myself to them. I'm going to try and see the moment. I don't think it'll work, but I've never tried. I'm gonna try it and see if I can force a specific memory or if I just keep getting random.
Okay.
So 1d20 plus 31 psychometry check. 47. I believe I have to hit 15, and then every 10 after that is a piece of information.
You tell me. I always have to look at that.
Yeah, I'm just double checking it. 15, and then every 10. So 47 is
4
15,
things?
27, 37, or 35, 45. Yeah, 44 things.
Okay.
Just 4 random memories of people getting water.
Well,
no, another guy.
these are memories where there would have been some sort of emotional thing happening.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Imprint it.
So you learn 4 things. So I'm gonna say roll 4d4. The higher you roll for each of the memories, the more important to you they may be. Or
how many D4? 4?
Yeah, 4d4.
Okay.
Yeah, you get a bunch of flashes of
Wait, fortune point? Wasn't there a hero point or something in the chat?
there was a
I guess
fortune
that doesn't
point.
work
This was the first roll, so I will give you an extra d4 for the fortune point, just because the +2 does nothing. So give me another d4. All right, there's a lot of like overlapping experiences of thirsty people arriving at this place alone and unable to move the stone slab.
It's so hot. I just wish I could get a drink. Oh.
Yeah, there was one person that was like that may have died next to this place.
Husband-wife couple. You said there'd be water here, Morty.
All 4 of the ones that you rolled were still when the crack was there. Like, these were people that knew there was a well here, maybe, but they came here and did not come as a group or in a caravan and were denied water. The 3 is something that kind of overtakes you a little bit. You actually there's a camp. You're getting this from somebody who ran over and gave a prayer to Kyrian to save them, and there's screaming in the background and something roaring. And then the image goes black as a camel went flying and hit the guy making the prayer.
Nice.
Get wrecked.
You go stumbling back, and you realize that you're lying in the same position the guy ended up falling in when he got hit by the camel.
I'm afraid I didn't see what cracked it. there was a good deal of thirsty people dying in search of water. A village nearby was destroyed by some monstrous beast able to fling a camel about.
Perception
Perhaps.
check DC 30 to see if you saw any clue as to the monster.
We're just gonna, I think, probably just say I didn't hit that.
Oh, you don't have a plus 10 or higher perception check?
No, I have a +4, so...
And that's including your +2 from your familiar. Okay.
That's impressive.
You wear glasses.
Not in a book. I'm not gonna get it.
Got it. You would recognize the roar if you heard it again.
Yeah, could I do a, like, knowledge nature, or maybe knowledge arcana? I'm trying to think, is this the sandworm I've been hearing about? Roaring?
Yeah,
It's like
you could give me a
Arcana
knowledge. You
monster,
could give me a
right?
knowledge arcana.
Okay. 36. 56, natural 20.
While the creature was larger than a man and probably larger than a camel if it was throwing things around, there was one creature that was roaring as people were screaming, and it was too small to be one of the sandworms.
Got it. 56. It's not big enough. My knowledge of the inner workings of magic have led me to determine it's not big. Got it.
Shall we make our way down this well then?
I feel like maybe we should just, consecrate and say a prayer to Kyrian out of respect before we go, trudging along his potentially sacred well.
That seems reasonable.
Oh, does anyone know any prayers?
Yeah, I got this. I'm a holy person, and I look at Bookerbeck, and I'll grab some silver dust from my backpack, and oh, Kyrian, he who is wise and nimble and does not pay his taxes, we seek exploration in your totally cool stone hole in the ground. Be a good lad and don't fuck with us. And then cast consecrate.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
hope Kyrian is male, by the way. It'd be really funny.
You're a follower of the blood bear, right?
Yeah, I hope he eats Kyrian. Like they're in a constant chase in the Beastlands.
Some Tom and Jerry thing. Battle
Yeah.
of inheritor race gods.
Be great. I was charged from the inheritor races.
Yeah.
To,
Yeah. What is the alignment of the blood bear?
chaotic neutral, I believe.
Which
Double
is
check. Chaotic neutral.
okay. That's one step away from Kyrian. So you'd actually notice that out when you touch the top of the altar, blood begins to pour out of your fingertips into the cracks of the into the carving, and it seems to immediately traverse the grooves in the carving way too quickly. It covers all the grooves, starts to fill in the crack, and then when it absorbs away into a reddish light, the crack is gone, and you've reconsecrated the shrine.
See, I told you I knew prayers and stuff. That's a good
Hey,
lad.
wow.
You can now
Amazing.
you can now hear splashing of water down below. It's like about as vigorous as turning on a faucet on a stone, like a faucet on a stone ground. You can hear
Okay.
water moving.
Well, do we still want to go down there, or we want to drink the water and, say our prayers?
I didn't like the part about taxes.
Yeah,
Is
sorry,
there
buddy.
still a passage down there? Perhaps Christopher could scout it about rather than all of us mucking about down there?
Oh, you're just gonna drop me down there?
No, I'm going to throw you. And I throw him.
Oh!
Like, I dunk him in the well.
All right. Well, there's not enough water to block the fall. So Christopher, you bastard, he takes 19 damage from the fall.
Christopher, you dead.
the gummy bear half quasi real familiar goes falling down the well.
He's still alive.
Oh, there's water down here, just a little bit. How many hit points does he have?
42.
Okay, like familiar abuse.
42.
Oh, I think I broke something.
Oh, you'll be fine. You can sleep it off.
Okay, there's muttering down there now.
Let the water flow around your good invisible friend. He must be so happy.
And I'll light another rock and I'll toss it down there.
Okay. I think that makes the light down there go away, and then... Yeah, so you actually see Christopher pick up the rock and kind of walk and disappear out of view at the light. Oh, I go explore on my own.
But wait, don't go too far.
You get emotions of annoyed.
I send back pride.
He didn't like that.
And bravery. Feel brave.
Nick, next time I make a magic sword for you to be fucking cursed. You can hear his muttering.
Well, I guess that might take some time.
All right, there's a mild surprise from Christopher, and then he seems to be struggling with something, kind of in the way that you struggle to overcome like a minor obstacle.
Oh no, a large rock.
You can hear him going. He's only like 6 inches tall or something like that. Like, how big is he?
He's pretty small. He has 4 strength.
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
no, sorry. He has 2 strength. He has a -4 for his strength. It's all right, buddy. I mean, if there's something down there, I could come down there and I'll fix a rope and I'll climb down.
There's a little place down here.
I hope this is all right, Kieran.
I'll
I'll start climbing down.
flutter down with you.
Okay.
I'm curious about this place.
What's your climb check, Thurgus?
My take 10 is 24, I think.
Okay, well, smooth stone
20.
walls have higher than 24, so
20.
give me a climb check.
20 plus.
I will, while he's affixing the rope, seeing everybody's going down there, flying down there, I'll walk up and cast Vomit Twin and vomit a twin of the professor into the well.
All right. Is climbing by 5? It looks like you fell. So you fell down the well. The sides were just too steep. The DC was 30. You fall down and crunch at the bottom for 14 damage. Fereosae flutters in, and then there's something vomiting onto the breastplate of Thurgus.
What the hell?
Oh,
And it constitutes into a very wet, confused-looking professor.
And you hear, I'll yell down from the top, is it safe to come down there?
It's definitely not clean.
Christopher comes wandering over. Water at this point in time is just starting to spread out along the surface. You're kind of in a reservoir. You get a feeling that it'll take a long time for this water at this rate to actually fill the bottom of the well. But Christopher did walk from around the corner to the right, and you do see this this large carved face that looks like a fox head spitting water.
I'll switch places with the Vomit Twin, and he'll be up top, and I'll be down
very
below.
nice.
Okay. The professor doesn't look confused, and he's not wet. Aside from
What is that?
the bottom of his the soles of his feet. Yeah, you walk up. This is definitely a shrine to Kyrian. and off to the side, what Christopher was struggling with are stone steps that are carved into the rock that lead up to a door. The steps continue through the doorway. It's like once this place fills with water, the door might actually be underwater.
I'm gonna go up to it and check it for traps. If I check it for traps, I mean open it.
It's a doorway. There's no door.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Then yeah, I'm gonna go up the steps.
I'll cast. What is it? We're
Life
gonna need
bubble?
some like.
Life
I'm
bubble?
gonna cast. Well, yes, I'll cast Life Bubble on the three of us.
Okay. 4 with Christopher.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So everyone gets like what 24 divided by 4, 6 hours of Life Bubble.
All right. The cut doorway is. It's small for a medium. It would be squeezing for Thurgus.
I'll cast Detect Secret Doors.
And I will cast Find Traps. And the two of us can kind of follow along.
Okay. 1 in 3 chance, Professor, that there is a secret door in this area. If you roll a 3, you find something.
Professor can't roll 3s. You can only roll 1s.
Yep. Hey.
Oh!
General threes.
Pointed at the face.
It's just 3 ones, really.
Pointed at the face of the shrine that is kind of spouting water into the reservoir, you actually determine that there is the presence of a secret passage.
Is like water when you do like protection or resist energy, is there like a water energy subtype or whatever?
No, the subtypes for resist energy are fire, electricity, acid, cold, and sonic.
Okay, so there's not a readily apparent one to cast yet. There's a secret door right there by the statue here.
Okay.
Oh, I missed it.
So Thurgus, you were about to squeeze through the doorway. You waited as the cast spells, and then the professor's actually pointing up to it. When you concentrate, I believe for 3 rounds, you end up knowing how to open up the secret door. So there's actually a catch. Like you got to push in one of the stones. That will reveal just a small space beyond it. Or it'll open it. Basically, you push one of the stones sideways, and there's a space beyond it.
I'll instruct Thurgus how to operate the mechanism.
Okay. It is. You're kind of pushing into the underside of the throat of the face.
Okay. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be respectful. I'm not gonna try and break anything.
Okay.
I'll give it a shot. See what happens.
It's well disguised. It looks like no one has moved this brick in a very long time.
Well, let's see what we have here.
It does take some of Thurgus' strength to push it through, but eventually the stone does move as the professor describes. There is a small space beyond, and you can see hooked up there is a beautifully carved flask that looks like it's got some sort of pipe or hose mechanism attached to the top of it.
Does it look like it's currently hooked up to the shrine, or is this just like a standalone thing?
Yeah, do you have disabled device or any
No.
knowledge engineering, anything like that?
I've got knowledge engineering. I'm looking at it over his shoulder.
Oh, actually, I do
Lots
have
of those things.
I have. I don't have disabled device. I've used magic device.
Okay.
What's in there, Thurgus?
Then just a perception check would be fine.
Okay.
Come now, let us see.
I'm really big. It's hard to like hunch down and look into this hole. 41.
Move back then.
The fasteners onto the top of the flask do have little symbols that are similar to the stuff that is on the altar above. It is of a different material than the silvered flask. The same vibration that is coming from the spigot that is spouting water is also vibrating at the same rate as the flask is. The water might be coming from there.
I'll take a step back and I'll let the professor take a look. But
Yep.
I feel like maybe this is the thing that is like, filling up this well, and I don't think we should take it.
Yeah, I'll bend down and examine it. Maybe do a little detect magic. Maybe move aside so Fereosae can have a look too. What do you make of it?
I'll keep my find traps up.
You're fine. You detect secret doors or find traps?
Find traps.
This thing is not registering as a trap.
I guess I'll do like a knowledge engineering check or something on it.
Oh,
Sure.
good.
Is
I
it
don't have to
alive,
keep concentration on that.
Undead, or other? I have Death Watch eyes, Marty. Is it a construct?
It is not a construct.
Is it a mimic?
No, Professor, you this is strangely, it's acting like a magical seal. A contingent magical seal that is on top of the magic item.
I've got. Can I do a knowledge architecture engineering?
Yeah, that's basically you're piling onto what the professor's doing.
I'll explain my findings to Fereosae. Basically, a seal. You can see there's some sort of contingency. What do you make it?
I don't know. Is it something about when the shrine is open or when the shrine is consecrated, then water will flow? Does it fill up to a certain level and then stop? Maybe. I'll detect magic on it and see if we can spellcraft it together.
Yeah, the thing
It's a
does
magic item.
the both the seal and the flask do radiate transmutation magic, albeit
right.
different spells.
Is one of them creating water and the other one transporting it?
Wouldn't that be conjuration to make water?
Yeah, fair point. Fair point.
I
let's see if
shoot a
we can
glance
identify
over at
the
Thurgus.
words.
Yeah, if you want to identify them, go ahead.
I cast create water on the professor. It's because I know how to cast it, dummy.
36.
Yeah, it's a decanter of endless water. Combined with the engineering check and you guys putting your heads together with the 36, it actually will screw off. And the seal itself has some sort of contingency that is attached to the shrine above.
It would trigger some magical effect in the shrine above if we unscrew it.
I feel like we should leave it and be respectful.
It
We
also
can create water ourselves anytime we want. We don't really need it.
An
This would
interesting
be helpful
piece
to
of
the people around.
it also might
magical engineering.
It also might turn off at a certain spot. In fact, you look around the room and you actually see the little glyphs that when the water reaches this point, it will turn off.
Very nice. Let's put the block back in place so others don't stumble upon it, shall we?
Yes, but it raises an interesting design principle. Thurgus, we once had an imp who could function similarly to this flask as an infinite source of blood, considering his healing capabilities. Using a similar mechanism, could we not fill a well to your blood bear using some sort of imp blood extraction system? Similar?
That sounds pretty evil.
Is it
Interesting.
Is it evil to milk a cow? To extract blood from an imp is but to gather a magical spell component from a source of the ingredient.
I
That
wonder
seems
what's
legit,
through
I
that
guess.
door over there.
Anyway, shall we?
All right. So yeah, it'll probably take some time for this place to fill up, so that you wouldn't be able to access the stairs without swimming. You go up to the stairs. Who is taking the lead for looking for traps?
I'm gonna lead. I got
Okay.
detect magic.
I
and get
will.
perception.
Okay.
Oh.
I have fine traps. Or well, yeah, that's a good point. Your perception is excellent too.
I can find traps. I just can't disable them.
Okay. Fereosae, give me a. You receive a check to notice traps within 10 feet of you, even if you're not actually. Okay. Fereosae, give me a perception check.
Yes. Perception to identify traps is plus 26 plus half my caster level, so 6 more plus 32.
Nice.
Cool.
37.
Okay. The last step that leads up to a landing that is well above the height where the water would be. Like the stairs kind of continue up through this opening.
Yeah.
The last step has some snaky gold sigils on it. And you're pretty sure if you step on it, you'll set off a sepia snake sigil trap.
That is a spell I have, so I know that it's pretty bad. You have to skip the last step. It might turn you into might encase you in amber forever.
Ugh,
It's a
that
trap.
sounds awful.
Yes.
With your 37, you know that this trap resets itself.
It will also reset, so you can't just trigger it and then walk on by.
What did you say up there? Skip onto the last step?
You heard me, Professor. Do what you wish.
Oh, come now, Fereosae. Can't we have a bit of fun?
Oh, we can.
Okay, Thurgus, there's a little bit of wind that blows
It
from
It will
up
keep you
up in the
forever young,
well
Professor.
past your shoulder and kind of up the steps, like just this weird breeze.
It's kind of opposite of what I would have figured. And I'm gonna make my way up the steps, following the instructions of skipping the last step.
Okay, yeah, it's clear that you might want not to step on that one stairs. You do have to squeeze up through these steps. It thankfully opens up a little bit. The roof could be a little bit higher, and there's a 20 by 20 foot space with kind of every 5 feet, sort of like an arch in the ceiling, almost like a honeycomb. You can see what looks like an old cook fire or like a hearth in the middle of the room, and then some bedrolls and some rolled up carpets.
Can I try and make a survival check to see when the last time it was used?
Everything is really dry down here.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Yeah, give me a survival check.
Any? Would this be for tracking?
Tracking a specific thing, you're looking for signs. So,
Okay.
yeah.
31.
Years?
Okay. It's been a long time since this was used. I feel like this is probably just a place for people to hide out from the elements.
There are some
Perhaps.
mice and maybe some vermin that have gotten in here. Even they have ceased to come down here.
Can I tell where the wind is going? Like if I stay still and try and get a...
Yeah, there was the gust that it went into this room, and it must be exiting somewhere. If there's a cook fire here, there must be a flute.
Oh, okay. I'll check the rest of the room just to make sure that it's the chimney that I got a whiff of and not like something else.
Yeah, you walk in, you can see somebody might have eaten like pistachios or something a long time ago. Like they crunch under heel. There are some stone and bone seats that are erected here. There are some hides that are along the walls to provide some insulation to make the stone maybe feel a little bit more comfortable. It's not the happiest of places, but there's a place to cook, there's a place to sleep, and then there's obviously water nearby.
Yeah. Seems safe.
You could hide here.
This is a good place to hide. This would have been a good place to cast that private sanction.
Go get Zephyros. He's in his rope trick. I know he's got a second one prepared.
Fair enough. It will get a little bit wet, and of course we've got to avoid that step.
Okay.
Are we hiding out here for a few hours?
Yes, we should fetch Zephyros, though, from the rope trick, have him recast our Mage's Private Sanctum if we're going to be down here. I would like to not be scryed on while taking a rest.
Is there enough space for everyone down here?
Yeah, 20 by 20 foot space.
20.
It's cozy, but you could definitely rest down here. In fact, you find an old healer's kit. You could probably replenish a healer's kit with 5 uses. There's maybe half a dozen antitoxins if you're looking really hard. And the food, well, that's probably why there were so many mice and bugs in here at one point, but you do see that there are some jars that still have some really dry looking food in it.
Any food where one lingers that long on the F, I think, is suspicious.
Food.
Yeah. Food.
Yeah, it's like food that has dried out and has dust, like really old. It doesn't take long. Are you dismissing your settler wagons when you guys are you pulling everyone into the safe hold?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll dismiss the wagons. There's still a Mage's Private Sanctum going up there, I guess.
Yep.
We do know how to get out, right? We can teleport ourselves out, of course. That's certainly an option.
Zephyros just flies down there. He does help Bukerbeck, and then Tech climbs down the well. I think he can climb without injuring himself.
Probably just jump.
Plus 16. He could jump, but jumping down 40 feet still is bad.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can. 33. He's able to climb down.
Oh, what were we here? A little hideout for those who don't want to pay their taxes.
Yeah, looks like it.
Still hung up on that, eh, Bukerbeck?
It's certainly a good place to hide.
It's a bit cramped in here, says Zephyros.
Yes, well, please, would you do us the honors of another Mage's Private Sanctum?
Oh, you want one from Zephyros?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he'll put up a Mage's Private Sanctum.
Yes, well, I suggest we all start resting, and once we're recovered, we commence traveling under cover of night. We should be able to get to our destination within the evening, I believe.
That sounds good.
One of his castings is more than enough to cover not only this space, but also down into the shrine where the water is pouring out.
Nice.
Or yeah.
I'd like to cast Legend Lore on the Bone House.
Yes, Fereosae, could you have a look at this now that you've rested for the evening?
Should take about 20 minutes. I subtracted some spell components from our spell component pool.
Yeah, I think you need to. You need some ivory sticks that you get to keep, and then some incense. So you can also subtract the 50 gold piece per 4 ivory sticks from spell components. Just put them out on your character sheet as a focus.
Done.
Okay. All right, so you're legend loring the
Is
the
that
bone
offensive
house.
to anybody in the party?
What's that?
Ivory sticks you're carrying around now?
Zephyros has been kind of been kind of grouchy and working on spells. He's been off. He's been off in his own mind for a while now.
Okay.
He's gone through stages, i.e., whenever Neil's not here.
Yeah.
He just gets moody.
He just gets moody, and you could tell he's working on problems, and he's got single track elephant Fant mind. No, he doesn't find anything. He's not offended by spell components.
Hey, if it was human finger bones, I'd be fine with it too. So you know.
Yeah, they're not mine.
Oh, sorry. I just moved him over on the map because it's only 20 by 20. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah. We're kind of
'Cause
in,
it's-
we're kind of in theater of the mind. Although if you guys do come back here or decide to make this a thing, I'll draw up a quick map for it.
Yeah.
All right. Where do you want me to type out what the thing is?
It should be on my character sheet.
So this is Fereosae's divinations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess.
It's under general equipment for the House of Bone.
Okay.
It says minor artifact, axes into fortress, permanent desecration.
Yep.
Create 4 morgues per month.
I'm gonna type up something.
General equipment.
Yeah, it's on Gear and Treasure. It's with like the Hadean carriage, a key for the. Actually, I guess we should get rid of the Hadean carriage, huh? Key for the lift.
Yeah, we
lead
can
metal.
mention that we sent it to someplace else.
Yeah. If you want to put it on the professor's list, you can, but that's the one that we got put into Gear and Treasure to be sorted. So I just moved it in general.
Yeah. I think maybe once we've got it identified, I'll move it over to like a slot list or something.
Sounds good.
I probably shouldn't keep it in the flesh grafter's bag, right?
Why not?
It can. It's not gonna like.
I can
don't
just-
say the.
I'll just
Don't say the
reach
command
in,
word.
touch it, and say the word. Pop!
I dare you. I dare Fereosae to reach her hand inside the professor's flesh graft bag.
Ugh. No, I think I'll pass.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a whole lot of nope.
Not a lot of people lining up to reach their hand in there. And if you do reach your hand in there, there's like a 50-50 chance like a hand grabs you once you're in there.
That would be extremely disturbing.
What was the pearl called that where the... Oh, you haven't been there before. Give me a second. It's the one where the horses went. The nightmares? Cliffside. All right.
Cliffside, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's allowed by these guys, but this House of Bone is a really great knife to take inside the giant worm for your battle from the inside to the out. You could launch a little army from inside of his stomach. It has all those
Could
like
be really interesting.
creatures that like come off of it. You know, but I don't know. That's not really Fereosae's style. I'm sure he's much more hands-on.
I'm not gonna let your morgue steal my glory.
Yeah. 4 morgues per month.
If anything, I'll conjure my own army inside.
Told you we needed to get out of here, not go deeper into places. Morgues. It's a nice little impromptu well we found here.
Yeah, this is a cool.
Yeah, it's
place.
pretty cool. Like it.
I need a random piece of lore for an artifact.
A random piece of lore.
Yeah.
It was put together by bones of 1,000 slaves.
Once stood erect over the great pits of Karka, as it stood as the lookout to the evil foreman.
As a complete tangent, on a side note, I did finish the first Mistborn trilogy.
Oh yeah, you like it? You gonna keep going? Burning
Yeah,
metals now? Is that your?
I'm a big fan. I actually moved on to Elantris.
Okay, Elantris is good. Yeah.
Before I go back to anything else in the Cosmere.
I mean, Elantris is good Cosmere stuff.
Yeah.
But
He
like,
actually released a video today about.
oh my god, yeah.
I can't spoil it, but it's.
Kickstarters and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me and my buddy are deep into the Cosmere stuff. So
Nice.
I just got the. I ordered. They're reprinting the graphic novels. One of the like Cosmere worlds exists in graphic novel. I think they did like an audio drama adaptation, but it's originally like these 3 graphic novels. It's got this weird,
Yeah, I
like,
saw it on the website.
yeah, it's got like sand-based magic. His things, each like planet has their own magics. Mistborn has like the metal burning.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited for that one. That's the only one I've yet to do is the
Nice.
white sand stuff. So good. There's so much. Have you seen the chart yet? Are you following
Did.
the reading order chart here?
Oh, I haven't looked at the reading order chart. No, I saw a bunch of charts for like the different elements and stuff, which I thought was pretty interesting. But...
There's like a fan recommended reading orders. I think Mistborn is like the good starting place, but there's so much of it, and there's so much like side stuff, and they all kind of like hint towards the other worlds, so it can be kind of. It makes a little more sense maybe if you read them in that order.
Oh, it says you're supposed to start with Elantris. Interesting.
Yeah, Elantris is definitely. I mean, a lot of them are like standalone things, and the things that happen in it may like come up in one conversation buried in some other book. It's all like a shared universe kind of thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
One of them.
Audio drama right now.
Oh yeah, there's really good stuff for a lot of his stuff. He's a machine, man. He turns out so much stuff. It's crazy.
All right. So after spending some time with the item, Fereosae, this thing gives you the creeps. It does radiate strong conjuration and necromancy, and it does have an evil aura. And I will paste the stuff that I've typed under Fereosae's divinations in our OneNote. So the first thing that you learn is that the House of Bone was crafted as a set of 3 by the Necromancer, and his hands are the Houses of Bone. This one is the House of the Morgue. It was constructed from the bones of 999 dead. This minor artifact was taken by Professor Henry Sinclair Chalmers III of the Jerks Emeritus from Count Cial of Cliffside whilst outside of Bostera. The lore also reveals how to use the artifact, making it shrink and grow, and the command words to control the morgues summoned by the tower. You know that more morgues will show up. The Bone House can be weakened physically by summoning it within lawful and good holy ground under the effects of a hollow spell. Which is suggesting it's a minor artifact, so like extreme damage might also destroy it, but this is definitely a place where you don't want to summon it if you want to keep it around.
That makes sense. Nice. Crafted by the Necromancer. How nice.
Yeah, Oh, grandfather's work?
Apparently. I'll share the command words for all of the parts of it.
Your grandfather was a necromancer,
says Bukerbeck.
Oh, not a necromancer, the necromancer. Quite famous across the Pearls. Infamous, really. I do believe he killed many, many, many people.
All people who didn't pay their taxes.
Oh, I don't know about that. As I said, he was quite the evil character. Well, if it's any consolation, though, I don't believe he much liked me much. Always favored my brother, the bastard.
Bukerbeck's looking at you with narrowed eyes. I don't know if he knew that before.
He might not have.
Yes, well, we can't all be judged by the lineage of our parents, can we?
No? I guess
What was your grandfather, Bukerbeck?
I don't remember.
He actually says, and he squirms a little bit.
Well, see, he could be twice as worse. He could be the murdering, pillaging savageman of the Nine Realms.
Wait, hang on a second. Bukerbeck, how
Yes?
newly inherited are you?
Well, let's just say that I have my suspicions that I was not born a boggart.
Reincarnation, yes.
Didn't we delve into these memories once before, Bukerbeck?
Yes, I believe that I have always been a priest of Pampadamadomba, but I may have been reincarnated.
Is that something you want to fix?
Oh no. If my enemies think I'm dead, then good. If only I could remember them. Something happened.
And he kind of mutters to himself, and you've completely deflected his inquiry into your grandfather being the necromancer.
We're buddies. Me and Bukerbeck go way back. We save each other's lives. I can't let him be worrying about trivial things like that.
True, my sins have been forgotten, at least by me, which is a dangerous place to be put inside of. However, I have received the blessings of an enlightened Iron Priest of Bompadamadomba. When all this over, we will be talking about taxes.
I mean, that's got to be a good sign, though, right? Like, if there's a god that's giving you blessings.
Yes, but not all of the priesthood of the Mandira of Bompadamadomba. Let's just say some of them are a little more greedy than they are rule-following.
Yes, even the taxes sometimes get taxed, I've noticed.
Still, that is not the point. I suppose Kyrian is paying his taxes in a way by providing us a safe place to stay. Although we did not get a full day of travel in, is there another reason why we've dove down here? Or did you just want to play with the professor's bone?
Oh, Bukerbeck, do behave. Yes, well, I think it is best if we begin traveling by nightfall. It is much cooler. I think we can all agree that is much more enjoyable than being stuffed in a carriage next to a giant elephant and a giant bear.
Is it for eating or for keeping? Says Makarnon.
Is he looking at the
bone house, yep.
Neither for the moment. I'll take it. I think I'll keep it.
Zephyrus shakes his head and picks Makarnom up and puts him off, like, away from it. It is an extra-dimensional space. We've had this conversation before.
Oh, yeah, you would get ruptured. I don't want to get ruptured.
Yes, I will just hold this in a pocket then, not inside the flesh grafter bag.
There, we're safe, Zephyrus. You know.
Yes, but as I was saying, Bukobec, there's another means for us to travel. Have you ever heard of the magic around shadow traveling?
Bookerbeck has knowledge planes. He does.
You mean Bukerbeck the Pearl Walker?
I've heard.
Oh yeah, he's travel domain. Is he?
I've heard of this method of travel. It is dangerous.
Well, as dangerous, or more dangerous, or less dangerous than traveling across the open parch directly adjacent to one of the largest arcane monsters to lurk in this pearl.
We are upon
Mind you, we are being tracked during the day as well by one of the most powerful mages across the pearls, who is actively sending assassins, probably combing the desert as we speak for our carriages.
We haven't been scryed in a couple of days, though.
Oh yes, of course. I'm sure we're safe then.
Bookerbeck. I will follow the rest of you, necromancers, grandson.
Yes, well, thank you for your encouragement, tax collector's advocate.
Ooh.
And when we are traveling by the cool of the night, instead of crammed in the back of a carriage, which a carriage summoned by the professor who got you here in the first place, think on that, Bukerbeck.
I thought Bukerbeck got us to this pearl.
Every road has its toll.
And it shall be paid, and Bumba Dumba Dumba will get his share per the tax code.
When the professor says it'll be paid, Thurgus just kind of looks at his arm. Looks up to the professor's face.
I'm not sure the Shadow Realm is the realm of Bomba Dumba Dumba. Such spells are beyond me. It is not a way that the priests of his temple travel.
Yes, well, it is the way of the illusion magics, I'm afraid. Therefore, it is less bumpy than a carriage and cooler than a hot desert day. So I vote shadow walking. Anyone have objections? Oh, well, we could travel at the rate of 50 miles an hour versus the shuddering 3 miles an hour we're making in good terrain.
Bookerbeck snorts on his teeth.
That is very quick.
Yes, well, and they can take, me plus 12 of us, so we should all be nice and comfortable. As I said, it is in the cool of the night, should be quite shadowy, so maybe bundle up a bit.
There are 8 by my count, not counting the familiars.
We should have sufficient room then. This should help us in our journeys across pearls. When we do not know locations, and we can use our teleports for strategic movement only.
I like that plan.
Anywhere that gets me killing faster is okay in my book.
Wait a minute, though. Bookerbeck, you said it's dangerous.
Yes.
What is dangerous about it in particular that we might be at least prepared for that danger?
The Shadow Plane, I believe, is where certain types of demons and undead do roam.
Okay.
Shadows themselves might very well originate from this plane. It is... We will have to be cautious. I have never gone there before.
Nor have I, but it does raise an interesting proposition for us. In our struggles to escape the pearls and to escape whatever doom is befalling them, we have been in a rather desperate search for a way out, have we not, Thurgus?
Oh, yeah, let's fucking get the fuck out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, well, being able to now come close to the shadow plane and touch it, there are perhaps options for us in terms of escape.
I can't take all this crying.
Perhaps once we get there, we can see if there are any other planes touching the shadow plane.
Wait, Christopher, can you hear Desnovia?
Oh, yeah? You kid?
I listen.
You can hear your companions kind of shuffling around and...
No.
Oh, don't worry about it, but there's crying and arguing and all sorts of stuff that goes on. We gotta get the fuck out of here.
I keep looking around trying to listen.
Yeah, you
And then
you can hear the you can hear the water sound is changed outside because the water's starting to fill up. Like it's like water splashing into water as opposed to against the stones.
Sure.
You can hear a little bit of the wind because you guys didn't pull the stone slab over top. You can hear your companions moving around.
I scrunch my face up and concentrate really hard, and eventually, after a few minutes, I'll give up.
Yep, Tech sharpening a knife. Bukerbeck stirring his tea. You know, like so you don't hear.
Yeah, I got nothing. I think you're crazy, little man.
Oh yeah, probably. We fixed that though with that spell that one time, but who knows how long that's gonna last.
Wait, you think you're gonna go crazy again?
Well, not today. There's always tomorrow.
That's oddly optimistic of you.
Oh,
So we're just gonna...
Fergus, are you listening?
What?
Yes, I was saying, being able to come close to the shadow plane, we may be able to find a way out.
Oh, yeah, that
another
sounds
plane,
great.
someplace safe.
Yep,
Safer.
or we could show up on that one pearl that Desnovia told me about with the giant worm that was trying to eat the whole planet, and then maybe we just go to the wrong place. Do you know how to navigate the plane of shadow?
No, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. We'll just wing it. How hard can it be, really?
Can we leave from the well, or do we need to be up above?
I do believe anywhere with shadows is sufficient. If we do leave from inside the well, though, we may want to...
I would much rather leave outside the well if I'm going to be traveling at 50 miles an hour.
Indeed. Fair enough.
I suppose.
all right.
Grumbles as he looks in it for his fly spell.
You guys take a moment here to take a breather. You put up another Mage's Private Sanctum, and then you guys leave the shrine, kind of sloshing through or flying above where the water is flowing. And then you're going to go out of the well. Do you put the cap back onto the well, or do you just leave?
I think
Leave it
we
off?
should put the cat back
Okay,
on.
yeah, you put the cap back onto the well. And you can still kind of hear the water, the water spraying, like the well hasn't filled up completely yet. Now what? Your phantom carriages have disappeared because you dismissed them.
I am going to take a moment
Yep.
and pull out the hero deck and
Yep.
just start flipping through cards somewhat randomly. And when I see a card that's interesting, I'll kind of hold it up to a person and say, you should watch out behind you, I think. Will come your way. And I'll do this for each person
Okay.
using my soothsayer hacks
Oh, so broken.
to grant them both fortune and protective luck when they need it.
All right, and is this also going on the familiars?
Why not?
All right,
So-
Matt, you're gonna have to track this. If you forget, then the
100% that is
this is
fair.
the party
Yeah.
tracking protective luck and fortune. How many
Yes.
how many rounds does that last when it's unattended by Fereosae?
Let's
Two?
see here. Fortune.
Pretty sure it's 2.
Okay,
Should we put these on character sheets?
I think at the top of your character sheet, highlighted in some eye cancer color, is what these two things do. Yeah,
Yeah.
Could you
And,
post
yeah,
them into chat, maybe?
I can.
yeah, and maybe just
That's
summarize them.
fortune.
Yeah, Protective
what
luck.
fortune does is it gives you the option to, once per round, re-roll any ability check, attack roll, saving throw, or skill check and take the better result. You have to decide to use it before the first roll is made. So you can say, for this roll, I want to roll twice and take the better result. And you can do that once a round for as long as the hex is active.
Wow.
And it's, by default, it lasts 2 rounds, but I can tackle it.
So, and what is granting the fortune through this like weird mechanism?
Fereosae is just doing
Soothsayer.
hexes on you, or like beneficial hexes with a supernatural word.
Got it.
It's not even a spell.
Fortune. And was there a second one, or was it just fortune?
The second one is protective luck. Protective luck gives essentially misfortune to creatures that are making attack rolls against you, which means that they have to roll twice and take the worst result.
Okay.
Ah, it makes my spoodles tingle.
Not yet, but it will.
Oh, okay.
And this has to go back up every day, or just like whenever it gets discharged, it needs to be put back on?
It can only be cast on a person. You can only be affected by a hex once a day. So once it goes off, that's it for 24 hours. Now, if it goes off in combat and we're close together, I'll just keep cackling it to keep it going through the full combat.
Okay.
Is initiative a check?
Initiative is an agility skill check, I believe.
Yeah.
I think that was
So
FAQ'd.
would initiative trigger this?
That is an interesting question.
You get to decide, right? The target can call upon allowing to re-roll and take the better result. You must. Okay, so yeah, you can choose.
Yeah.
You can choose to. Okay, yeah. Okay.
It sounds like it would affect initiative checks. The moment you say, let's roll for initiative, I think fortune starts then.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's its first round. You can decide whether or not you want to use your round's fortune on initiative.
Yep.
Yeah.
For initiative, I'm just gonna add a pip called Fortune, and I'm just gonna make sure that it always appears at the top, and we'll be reminded that this thing is there.
That sounds
Fortune hex.
We'll go at plus 100. There we go. We'll never forget Fortune hex.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
This
And
is-
protective luck will kick in the first time someone attacks you.
What happens if I have to make like a survival check just randomly? Is fortune going to go off?
Fortune will go off if there's any chance of failure, is the way it rolls. In combat or any chance of failure.
And that's fine. There's a decent chance then that we'll make some check that's important. Like I did this after climbing up the well because I didn't want the climb check where you could fall to be your fortune for the day.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So the powerful witch has hexed the party and twisted the lines of fate to be beneficial to the party. Woe to those who cross her. The professor cracking his knuckles. He's got this nice new glove hiding his shame, or the bone hand that has extended into a bone arm after calling out to fell forces. Those knuckles crack much easier than the ones still covered by flesh. But you get ready to cast a spell of illusion and shadow that will allow you to train yourselves at great speeds.
Klaatu Varata Incomplete.
All right. As you go around and kind of envelop the spell, name the targets of the spell.
So it'll be the crawling hand of the Archmage, myself, obviously.
You don't need to, call out your own familiars, just the masters. Yeah.
Boogerbeck, Thurgus, Fereosae. I guess the Answerer, I'll hesitate, and then I've got the extra charges, so I'll touch the Answerer and just to see what happens.
Okay. For whatever reason, the answer is considered a person for the effects of the spell.
Nice.
Tech and Zephyros, and yeah, all the Macronom as well. He's not really.
You didn't like the energy that was rolling off the answer, though. Like, you know that. Yeah, there's a paladin inside of it, so there's something about the sword that kind of made the flesh on your good hand crawl.
Which one's the good hand?
You got Zephyros, Macronom, and Tech. All right.
The one with,
I'm gonna get everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get everybody. I'll do a good once over, make sure nobody got me.
In the dim area that of the Mage's Private Sanctum, which was still running up here, there is a swirl of shadow. The terrain changes subtly, and the blue sky turns that to one of gloom and darkness. The weird thing about the shadow plane is the sky is, you'd expected it to be completely black, like pitch black, but no, the sky still is relatively light to the surrounding terrain, which is almost moving like fast moving sand. You're upon sands that are pitch black, but the sky is like a very dark gray, and the clouds are swirls of shadow. There are some desiccated cacti things that are kind of all around you. Every step that you move is like 10 times quicker than normal, leaving shadowy trails. Everyone that you've designated as a person in the spell knows that you could eject yourself from this unholy place if you desire it.
Okay.
Shall we, Thurgus, you have a good sense of direction. Lead us to the next marker.
Do you want to telepathic bond us in case we, step 50 miles to the right or something?
Yeah, you feel like that you can control like how fast you move. It's just the movements are quicker. There's all sorts of sensations. It's like color is drained from this place, and the group of you is like a beacon of color in this otherwise muted black to gray palette. There is a coldness to the place. While you were in a desert, the temperature dropped, 30 degrees F from switching spots. This is like nighttime temperature in the middle of the day. The light is ambient in the sky. You can't tell where the sun is. The cloud
shadow without light, I suppose.
The cloud cover is too thick. You thought you heard like a high-pitched scream maybe about a mile away?
We should be moving. Good call on the telepathic bond. Let's hope no one hears this. I'll cast telepathic bond. I'll do myself, Thurgus, Boogerbeck, Fereosae, Zephyros.
Okay. You get a general sense of people are worried about this place. Moving is a good idea. A bunch of whispers. The party kind of clings close together and begins to follow Thurgus.
All right, let's get going.
Boogerbeck hands you the map. Give me a survival check or a knowledge geography as you're trying to navigate in the shadow plane.
I'll do, if Thurgus is doing survival, I'll do...
Oh, knowledge planes would also help you navigate, actually.
Do I get +2 from the map?
I'll do a knowledge plane.
The map will give you a +2, as you're going to find out the geography is similar. It's the small details that are not.
I can help out on almost any check, and I can aid on almost any check you're looking for.
Okay. So +2 from Fereosae.
37.
37.
And then 34 knowledge planes.
Professor, most things will be similar in this plane, although it's possible for some things to not be. So you'll have to watch out for major terrain changes or dungeons or cities or places that are not necessarily exactly as they are in this world. As for the well is just kind of like a big empty hole.
Like it doesn't exist on the plane of shadow?
It on the shadow plane, it's like somebody cratered this area. And like the entire cavern has been holed out.
Okay.
There is some sort of water at the bottom of the well. It's more like a pond, and the water has the consistency of, I don't know, liquid shadow.
Yeah, no, hard pass. Let's get moving.
Okay. You begin to follow the terrain. It is rocky terrain. The twists in the road are not exactly the same, but in general, there is a path here, which also kind of frightens you. You're heading to that place in the shadow plane.
Yeah.
Okay. When you begin to pick up your pace, you are moving quite quickly. 50 miles an hour, though, is enough to see... is, like, slow enough to see sights. Like, it's effectively you're doing a running car ride. Things become a blur. You may have passed some other shadowy forms that seem to be less moving in the same direction or even opposite direction, and more so kind of trying to head you off along the path, and you kind of zipped right by them, and they slowly turn to catch up to you, but they were like pedestrians, and you were via the shadow spell almost like you were on one of the trains of Grand Station. Miles of terrain begin to click by. You've been marching now for probably a little over an hour, following this twisted path, when you do see a structure up ahead. It is 4 giant stories tall. A big stone edifice of a building. There is a noticeable drop in temperature as you're approaching this building. If you don't slow down, you're going to overshoot it. There is.
Do we want to stop for the creepy 4-story building?
Is that our intended destination?
Is it close?
I'll slow down and like stop.
Yeah, everyone begins to slow down, and you can get a better look at the building. This is kind of around where the rough map says is the House of the Moon. This place in the shadow plane looks like it's got blackish vines growing all over it. And the stonework looks like it's been neglected for 1,000 years.
We're actually trying to get some blessings here, so I feel like we should not make our approach in the plane of shadow. I say we fuck out and get the rest on foot.
That
Yes.
probably makes sense.
Fine by me. It served its purpose.
It's good to know that this is here, though. If we,
Eject!
You can hear echoing inside the yawning, dark, shadowy opening of this 4-story building, like a very large rattle.
I'm ejecting.
You're ejecting? Okay.
Yeah.
If Thurgus is ejecting, so am I.
Yeah.